Today we are going to write a new game. And which one? Let's roll a die to find out. What do we get? 4. What does that mean? It means that we're going to write a dice rolling game. Well, actually, no matter what number came up, we were going to write a dice rolling game anyway. Even though we are beginners, we can write this game. And let's do it. And for this, as usual, we go to the online C++ website, where we are greeted by this Ketif, a block of code that we already know how to work with. And let's get to making the die roll. How do we make the die roll? As you remember, we have the rand function. Let's quickly recall it. We write count. What is count? We all remember it's to output a value to the screen. We output the value of the rand function. As we know from the last lesson, to turn a large number into a small one, we need to use the remainder from division. And in order to get a random number from, let's start with 0 to 5, we need to get the remainder of the division by 6. The remainder of the division is denoted by a symbol. As we remember, it's the percent sign, and then we put a 6. We simply write a semicolon at the end of the statement, and now we run it. We get a 1. It's some random number, and we get a 1 again. And as we recall, every time we run the program, the random numbers will be the same. And for them to be different, we need to set the so-called seed, which is set by the srand function, to which we pass the current time, time 0. Check out the previous video, where I explain this topic in greater detail. But the main idea is that with a line like this, we actually begin to make the random numbers genuinely random, however unusual or surprising that may sound. And now we can what? We get 0, you see, 0 again, 4 different values. What's the problem? The problem is that we don't want it to be 0. Have you seen a 0 on the star? To be honest, I don't see a 0 here. So for that, the remainder of the division by 6 gives us a random number. No, that's not right. The remainder of the division of a large random number by 6 returns a random number from 0 to 5. To make a random number from 0 to 5, a random number from 1 to 6, you just need to add 1. What are we going to do? We know how to add 1. We just write +1, just like that, unexpectedly. Let's run it. That's it. Now you see there's a 6 and another 6 and a 5 and a 1. Well, that's it. The die is rolling. You see, it's rolling, just like in my hand and also in this program. Now, let's do it this way. We will have 2 players. That is, well, the person who's playing the game and their opponent. First, we need the player to roll the die themselves. And as usual, we store the value in a variable. We already remember we create a variable, setting its type to integer, a whole number, int. We write the name of the variable, which we come up with ourselves. In this case, it will be, for example, player result. I'll point this out right away. If you want a variable to have 2 words in its name, you can't use a space. because spaces are not allowed in variable names. So they use this little trick. Each subsequent word is simply written with a capital letter. And you get a sort of... This way, it's like we've written two words in one. Player result. In C++, the convention is to start the first word with a lowercase letter, and all subsequent words with a capital letter. Our player result equals this expression we've already made, rand modulo 6 plus 1. Basically, you should try to remember this expression, as it will be used very often. When we need to get a number in the range from 1 to 6, we use an expression like this. Besides the player, we need to have their opponent. Let's call it enemy. This is a game after all, and we're taking it seriously. Int enemy result. It accordingly rolls the dice, and it has the exact same function that also returns a random number. And so we end up with two random numbers. Let's display them on the screen. And we know how to do that. Two eras. Your. Why the formal your? Your. We should address the player informally, right? Year. Result. We wrote your result in quotes, then we add two arrows and the player's result. Player result. See, it even suggests the variable name for us, so we'll select it to avoid typing. And we also remember that for the next output to be on a new line, we need to finish this line with a line break. For that, we have this. I don't know what to call it. End of line? It's like a symbol or a variable. Call it whatever you want, which we also pass into count. And we need to repeat a similar operation for the opponent. The opponent's final result is shown. Again, we write these two arrows, enemy result. And again, we add end. Let's rim it. Your result, opponent's result. Next, we need to output the result of the game. What could the outcomes be? There can be three outcomes. First, you win. Second, you lose. Third, it's a draw. So as we know, we have the if operator. We check the condition. If your result, player result, is equal to, remember, it's a double equal sign. A single equals is for assignment. A double equals is for comparison. If player result is equal to enemy result, let's start with a win. That's more pleasant if it's greater. We know the greater than sign from math. It's the arrow pointing this way, where, as we were taught in math, the value on the wider side of the sign should be greater. See, this arrow is wider on the player result side. If player result is greater than enemy result, we output. You won! An end all. The second condition that we need to check is if the player result is less than the enemy result. Then we write, where am I writing? Lost. Lost. End all. I should have written end all here too. And the last option, if player result is equal to double equals, as I've said, we use it in this case, enemy result. We write count, C out, a draw. A draw. That's the game. What's our net? Lost. What's going on? Again. One, lost. Come on, why am I so unlucky? Well, let's try again. Lost again. A draw. Yeah, well, you see what's... Okay, I have to win now. I have to win. Come on. Lost. A draw. What is happening? Loss. It can't be. Let me win. Let me win. Finally. I won. I won. I won. Won. So that's the simple game we ended up with this time. I recommend you try to improve it somehow. Well, for example, make it so that each player rolls 2 dice instead of 1. It'll be even more fun. Or if you're already quite advanced, you can make the game run several times. But we'll do the multiple rounds in the next video. I'll show you how to do it nicely. But for now, play, enjoy, use this game, create games, and learn C++. And subscribe. And likes, yes.